I would like to acknowledge all Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander peoples, past, present and emerging, as I am recording on Wurundjeri country. Thank you for joining us.
Marmalade and coffee black. Lesson plans are on the stack. Ready for the students' track. Gonna find our groove.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the official 10th episode of Stranger in the Staff Room, where myself, Zoe Zammit, or as the kids will call me in just over 2 weeks, Miss Zammit. I'm a first-time teacher and I share lifelong stories. Two things that I said there were absolutely crazy. One, I have made 10 episodes. Yay! And you have been sticking around for 10 episodes. And I am beyond grateful for that. Like, I can barely hear myself yap for 20 minutes without being like, shut up, Zoe, what are you doing? So the fact that you are here suggests to me that I'm doing something right. But as always, my inboxes, DMs, you name it, the comment section even on this video or audio, however you're listening to it, they're always open. So feel free to give back any feedback, just be nice. I'm sensitive and I might cry. Anyway, and the second thing that was just wow that I said was that in just over 2 weeks, I will be getting called Miss Zammit full time. Oh my God. That is bonkers. Like, oh, I'm so grateful. My school, the way that it's set up is I'm going to ease into it. We just got our staff agenda for the first week. We start on the 28th. We've got 2 staff days. Then the Thursday, I only teach one class. And then on Friday, I have my home group, but they're doing activities that other teachers are running. So I am behaviour managing. Oh my God, I'm so glad, because then the rest of that is planning for the weeks ahead. And, you know, I'm new. I need all the planning I can get. I'm not up to the sticky note phase. I'm up to like the 1-page phase of lesson plans. So very lucky for that. So what we're going to be talking about today, because I haven't started yet, we are going to be talking about our goals for 2025. And just before we get into that, as a little thank you for the 10th episode, and just a thank you for being so supportive on my journey with the podcast and all the socials, and, you know, just putting myself out there as a teacher. January will be back to school freebies month. Yeah, it's a podcast exclusive, so I will be advertising it on our socials. So if you're not on socials yet with the Stranger in the Staff Room community, it is just Stranger in the Staff Room on Instagram and Stranger in the Staff Room, and in brackets SITSR, so SITSR, on Facebook as a community page. So back to school freebies. So because I post a podcast fortnightly, you will be getting 2 freebies per episode. So you'll get one in the middle of this episode and you'll get one at the end. So lucky you. If you think these are good freebies once you get to them to share with your friends, feel free to share this podcast episode, because then they will get the link themselves and they will be able to access both easygoing. So basically I'll elaborate on this. But one of my goals is to create more of a community filled with quantity and quality in Stranger in the Staff Room. So if you could share this episode to your mates, if you think the freebies are good, you are doing amazing stuff. So yes, it is the new year, 2020 Thrive, as Victoria Devine calls it on She's on the Money, and I will be taking that for my own. I have decided to go whole hog on the New Year's resolutions, and I will be making you keep me accountable. Sorry, not sorry. And in June, we will have an episode where we look at the halfway mark and see how we're going. So I will be sharing my goals for 2025, and on Instagram and Facebook, I asked you what your goals were, and I'll be sharing some of those today too. So get your tea and coffee, do whatever you got to do to relax, and let's get into it.
Through the highs and through the lows, we're the ones who always show, building worlds and making glow the dreams that they pursue.
All right, we are back, and for those of you who are using the visual version of the podcast through YouTube, you're probably wondering why I'm on my bed. It's because if I move my camera a little bit this way to the right, my desk is a bomb site. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I have all of my teacher resources everywhere for next year, and I can't find a place to put them yet, and a lot of it has to go on my desk at work. Oh, it's work, not placement. Oh my god. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, a lot of it needs to move. So today we're on the bed. I am a huge fan of goal setting, but I hate smart goals. Like, oh, it's drummed into my head from high school. Like, I completely understand the benefit of it. I'm a little bit like rebellious in terms of if you tell me to do something and I just don't see the point in it, I'll just be like, no. And that's how I was in high school. So now it's got this stigma attached. The smart goals have a stigma attached. But I'm starting to love them again, and I sort of combined smart goals cause I have got this gorgeous little book that sets out the SMART goals, and it also has action steps and deadlines. How cool. So I'm such a stationary nerd, so I saw this and I'm like, all right, I'll learn to love it again. I also combined it with Robert Greene's 10 categories for goal setting. He shared this on Mark Manson's Subtle Art of Not Giving a podcast, which I love. I haven't listened to an episode recently, so I will need to go and watch that and listen to that in my spare time. But those 10 categories are physical health, adventure and travel, mental health, material, financial, giving, intellectual, relationships, creative, and professional. So when I said whole hog, we are going whole hog. So let's get into it. So my first one is for physical health. What a one to start on, because I can't go into too much details about it, or I'm choosing not to. But the gist of it is that I am going to work using yoga and Pilates and walking my fur babies, my two doggos, Ivy and Karma, to get back to a dress size that I once was. Obviously you've only known me sort of maybe not even 12 months yet. So you're used to the way I look. I am the biggest I've ever been. And I don't like it anymore. And I have been on the unhealthy side of fitness where I was, very in my head about it, and I got really, really thin, almost sickly thin from it, which is why I'm not sharing specifics about dress sizes and weight and all that sort of stuff, because not only to internalize that doesn't matter, but to also, not put my ideas into other people's heads if I have that power. Who knows? So I want to do the action steps to change it, and I'm going to do it as balanced as I can. The theme of 2020 Thrive, apart from thriving, is balance for me. So I'm just going to try and balance it out, because now I've been unhealthily thin. I am now verging on unhealthily large. So let's find the balance. That is my first goal. My next one has got to do with adventure and travel. Now, this one, when you hear my financial goals and things like that, I might be a bit too ambitious with this one, but honestly, I don't care. Shoot for the moon. If you don't make it, you'll land on the stars, right? So my goal is to go on a Disney cruise by the end of this year or the start of next year. So yeah, start of 2026, hopefully. I am a Disney adult. I will put my hand up and say and scream from the rooftops, I'm a Disney adult. On my bucket list is to go to every Disneyland and world possible. And in the last recent years, Australia and New Zealand have started a Disney cruise line. So I have to go, like it's in my backyard. So I've been talking with one of my really good friends and they would love to. We've just got to sort of see whether it's doable. Just to, experience it. And I've never been on a cruise, so that would be really, really cool. That is my second goal. Now, to go from something really, really bubbly in the happiest place on earth to something a little bit more deep and meaningful, my mental health goal. So my mental health goal is to be able to name, by the end of the year, 5 qualities about myself that I don't need reassurance from other people that I possess those. Now, you might probably be thinking, like, that's really simple. What do you mean? But like I've said in other episodes, I think it was the Q&A one, where I've had a lot of mental health struggles throughout my life, and I am currently going through one now. I find it important to talk about because I've always said there's no such thing as TMI, because what you say could help someone. So I'm not going to change that for a podcast that's about vulnerability and the good, the bad, and the ugly of teaching. So the reason this is relevant to the teaching podcast is because I'm starting the opportunity of a lifetime, and I don't want to do that when I can't even be there for myself, let alone the kids. So I am getting that in action. I have a new therapist appointment coming up this month. Next month, I have other appointments that involve my mental health. Whether I share details about that on here, I'm not too sure yet, so don't get your hopes up. But yeah, I struggle with balance. Like I said before, I struggle with balance. It's either not enough or too much, whatever I'm doing. And yeah, I really feel like this is the next chapter, especially now sort of getting into the real world of working and things like that. So being able to name 5 qualities about myself, I can do, but I need someone to sort of be like, yeah, I can see that, for me to be like, oh, okay. 2020 thrive, I don't want that. I want to be confident in myself, but not arrogant in myself, and just be a better person, really. So there you have it. The next goal category is material. This actually took the longest for me to think about. I like my little knickknacks and my novelties. Like, the spare room of my house is got a head to toe shelf of pop vinyls that I collect. I love my knickknacks, but when I think of material, I think of something tangible that you've got to work hard for. So I decided to take a different route, and I thought of my mum, because my mum loves everything neat and tidy and aesthetically pleasing, as she learnt on Instagram in 2016. So I thought about her and I was like, hang on, this might fit the category. So in 2025, I want to have an aesthetic teacher desk. I want it to be so pretty and cute, and it makes me motivated to work. So yeah, I'm thinking purples and oranges, and not like the fruit, like the colour. Purple and orange, a little bit retro, a little bit groovy, because coincidentally, those are the colours that I like to put a lot in the Stranger in the Staff Room brand. And I just like retro stuff a lot. Like, I always say, if misogyny and racism and discrimination weren't a thing in the 50s, I would go back in time and I would live there, because the music, the cars, the clothes, everything was gorgeous to me. So yeah, I would love that to be the vibe. If you know any sort of things that belong on a desk that fit that vibe, please DM me the link or comment it on Spotify or YouTube. Yeah, I need all the inspo I can get. And who doesn't love a bit of retail therapy? Alrighty, for financial, it's sort of 3 goals in one. Thank you, Shares on the Money, for giving me so much inspiration on this one. I've got specific amounts for this 3-part goal, but I'm not going to share the specifics because I'm just not comfortable to share that part of my money story yet, as Victoria Devine says. But I would like to reach my target amount in a bank account that I have for gifts and presents that I leave for Christmas. I would like to reach my target amount for my emergency fund bank account that I have. And I would like to also hit my target goal in my investments. So I invest in ETFs and bonds. I use Sharesies if anyone is interested in investing. That's as far as I'll go into it. I enjoy it a lot, and I enjoy saving. I do. I've gotten a bit bad at it since the silly season. But I'm hoping to get back on the horse. Yeah, and I think these targets are pretty doable. It's just about navigating my new salary and, what money needs to go where before I can have the wants.
Morning light and coffee black.
We're at halftime, and that means you get your first freebie. How cool! So, this freebie goes out to my uni besties. This is an assessment score tracker that I have made on an Excel spreadsheet. It is completely automated. All you have to do is pop in your subject name, the score you got on an assessment, and how much weight that assessment holds. So if this is your first year of uni in 2025, this is all going to make sense when you speak to your tutors and lecturers. They'll be talking about grades and weights and things like that, and things like high distinction, credits, HDs, that'll become second nature for you. There's a little key there because your final grade that it predicts or finalises for you will come up as little squares, so it'll tell you how many squares equals the certain grade. This is aimed for those of you who like to predict your final score. So for example, if you have done assessment 1 and 2, filled it in, and you get to assessment 3, you're like, okay, it weighs 40%. What happens if I get a 50 on this assessment, and it'll predict your score? For people like me, I used to always submit my final assessment for the semester and then just sit there for a month being like, now what? I'm just supposed to wait for you? No, not happening. So I have made this spreadsheet to help calm those nerves. So yeah, if that interests you, head to the link in the show notes and you can get that freebie for yourself. I would like to raise $500 for the push-up challenge. Those of you who are friends and family of mine, you know that I have participated in the push-up challenge for years now. I think my whole uni career I have done the push-up challenge, which is really cool. And especially with my health and fitness goal, I think this would be amazing. I have raised, this is just a ballpark amount, maybe about $600 over those years. I was in a team for the first year, and for the last 2 years I've been doing it solo. We obviously raise the most money with a group because teamwork makes the dream work. So I would love to get a group together by June when the push-up challenge happens. And yeah, hit that goal, basically. We have done similar before, so why can't we do it again, you know? And the push-up challenge, I have never been able to do the full amount. That is for the elite. But I want to get as close to it as I possibly can this year. And for those of you who don't know what the push-up challenge is, trigger warning. Every June, there's a certain amount of push-ups that you have to do each day, and it represents each person that has committed suicide in that past year. It's sort of like a bit of a tribute to them, and each day the amount of push-ups equals a statistic to do with mental health, and the funds can either go to the Push-Up Foundation to keep the foundation going, Lifeline, or Headspace. So there's a lot of autonomy in what you donate to, and yeah, I think it's an amazing cause, and it's a really interesting way to bring awareness to it, because I had a lot of friends when I did it the first year, and they're like, why are you posting push-ups on your story? Like, you usually post sunsets. And I'm like, well, actually, here we go. So yeah, if you would like to donate to them before the push-up challenge starts, I will leave a link in the show notes. I think mental health above all is one of my biggest passions, and also something that needs to keep the amount of education we're getting in the media recently, I'll be honest, especially for our students. Children's mental health is getting noticed a lot more, and you can see that in the facts and statistics that the push-up challenge put up each year, and I really appreciate that from them. So yeah, donate if you can. For intellectual, for my experienced and veteran teachers, you're going to be like, no but I would like to complete my 20 hours of professional development, which is a requirement as a teacher, at least in Victoria. But when I say completing my 20 hours, I want to regularly uptake notes and actually use what I learn. Like, I know there will probably be some sessions that I'll be like, all right, I need to do this to get my hours, but I actually want to put meaningful time into my professional development. I've done 2, we'll call it PD, professional development. I've done 2 PD sessions this year just to get a feel of what I'm in for, and they are so inspiring, to be honest, the ones that I went to. I went to one from Adobe about AI in the classrooms. super helpful, super inspiring and motivating. And then the next one was an Innovate PD at ACU, so Australian Catholic University. And it was a bunch of schools showcasing how they're innovating education. And my mind was blown. Like, in a couple of years, the education system is going to be completely on its head for the better. And yeah, I have little nerd moments about it. So yeah, I would love to attend more like that, but we'll see how we go. We are back on the roller coaster ride with relationships. So we're back up and we go down. We go back up and we go down. So my relationships goal is to create my own definition of trust that I can apply to loving myself and others. I have learnt in 2024 that blatantly I trust no one. I really don't. Like, I trust people more than others, but I don't think I've ever reached my full potential of trust. And that comes within myself and, you know, a low self-esteem and things like that as well. So with the help that I'm getting that I mentioned before, I would like to learn how to trust. As simple as that. Yeah, it's tough, I'll be honest. And especially starting a new job, you've got to trust that people have your back. And it's tough. It's really tough. Like, I think it was last episode. Yes, it was last episode where I announced what I'm teaching this year. So head on down to that one. If you haven't watched it already. But I said that it really meant a lot when one of my faculty leaders said that she was excited and really happy to have me on the team, and I felt it and I knew she meant it because of this lack of trust. It meant beyond words. So I want that feeling to keep going and keep being genuine in 2025, but again, we'll have to see how we go. Creative. So this one involves you. Yes, you. The one I'm pointing to on the visual and the one I'm talking to on the audio. See what I did there? Anyway, the goal is to have a collective 500 followers or listeners or subscribers in the SITSR community. So followers and things like that are just a number. I'm aware of that. But I really want to bring awareness to this community. Like, I'm a very small podcaster and a very small Instagram account, a very small teaching community, and I just want to open that up to more people. So this is the goal that you can help out with. If you have socials and you're not following Stranger in the Staff Room already, please do so, because I want you to be a part of that really large community that we're going to make. And if you haven't subscribed or followed or left a review on the podcast, please do so. You know, on airplanes where they're like, if an emergency happens, help yourself and then help others. Do the stuff that you can to join the community first. If you've done all that and you're like, Zoe, I'm already like your number one fan. What do you mean? And I'll just be like, oh, stop. Autographs at the door. Meet and greet happening in 15. Oh, I'm full of myself. Anyway, if you have done all that, 1, thank you. Love you. 2, share the podcast with your friends. You'll never know who will enjoy something that you enjoy. And finally, my professional goal. This one took a long time too, until I realized, keep it simple. My goal is to survive my first year of teaching. Simple as that. And by survive, I mean have a work-life balance. Again, the theme is balance. And just enjoy it as much as I can. Like, I know there's going to be some really low lows, but I don't want those to overtake the highs and all the fun times that we're going to have. So yeah, that will involve taking time for myself, even if I feel like I can't, and just setting those boundaries. When I create them, I will let you know when I think of any. Again, back on my mental health journey, I have been seeing a psychologist for about 5 years. If you're listening, I don't know whether you stalk me like I've heard other psychologists do. I love you and I appreciate you more than you know. Oh my gosh. And for the past 5 years, we've been learning how to set boundaries and things like that. I'm not perfect, but I'm a lot better than what I used to be. So I really want to put that into practice this year, a lot more than I have ever. So yeah, that's my final goal. Alrighty, enough about me. Now it's on to you. So a lot of you put in your goals for 2025, and I want to say a huge thank you to you if you did so. Let's have a read of them.
Through the highs and through the lows, we're the ones who always show, building worlds and making glow the dreams that they pursue.
So, one person said that their goal for 2025 is to be healthier diet-wise and have a healthy balance. Girl, same! Our theme is balance. Let's do this together. Another person said that they want proficiency and professional learning in geography since they are teaching it and are not trained. That is my biggest fear. Oh my God. I was so nervous. Like, my parents made a joke with me before I found out what I was teaching this year. They were like, imagine it's like grade 5 PE. And I'm like, I wouldn't know the first thing about PE, stop. Like, I know I said I'd teach anything, and I would, but I might cry in the corner first if it's something that I'm not trained in. So, power to you, girl. I'm more than positive you'll be able to do it, but please, you know who you are, keep me updated. I would love to know how your journeys are going. Another person said consistent gym routine and consistency in hobbies. Yeah, the hobbies one, huge for me. This is why I'm surprised that I've made 10 episodes, like, I'll be honest, because I thought about this podcast sort of within 3 days and I was like, yes, perfect, let's do it. And usually when I think of ideas or hobbies and things like that, I'll get into it, and then after maybe 2 weeks I'm like, nah, I'm done. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Let's keep each other accountable. Another one is to get through my first year of my degree. I do know this person who has put this goal in. They are studying teaching, and you are going to be fine. The first year subjects are interesting. They're necessary, but in the first year of teaching, you can't see why they're necessary. So give it time and just remember your why. As annoying as that is, you will get through it. And yeah, I know you, so please feel free to reach out if you're ever struggling. I got you. Now, the last one is to gain more physical flexibility. I want to join cheerleading at uni. Stop. Okay. I'm not flexible at all. Like, at all. Oh my God, actually, so embarrassing, right? I went to a yoga class yesterday. The yoga class was fine. I love yoga. It was like a strength one, so it really pushed me. And there was, I'm really going to like flash here, but there was like a pose where you had to like lift your leg up in the air. You can see how flexible I am from that if you're watching on YouTube. I can't move my leg any more than that. And there was this woman, at the youngest, maybe she was in her mid-40s, and she's lifting her leg up in the air, and she could probably put it around her back if she wanted to, and I'm just there like, what the have I done wrong? So yeah, that would be cool for me too, but that'll be a byproduct. But cheerleading? Okay, so the uni that I went to had the cutest cheerleading uniforms, and when I first got to the uni, I'm like, I want to do cheerleading. You just saw me try and put my leg up. You think I'm making the cheerleading team? Absolutely not. But I just wanted to wear the uniform and the bows in the hair, and it was very cute. But no, I will leave that to the professionals like yourself. So get that dream, girl. You got it. Thank you again if you did send me your goal, and thank you again for all your support on the podcast and the community as a whole. 10 episodes. Let's push for 20. Let's push for 500 collective followers. Let's do it. So that is all we have today. But before I leave you to it, your second freebie is on the way.
Marmalade and coffee black. Lesson plans are on the stack.
So the second freebie goes to all teachers because at least in Australia, we are starting school again at the end of January, which is not far away at all. Cue the freaking out. I'm not freaking out, you're freaking out. And the biggest thing that myself, I'm an extrovert and I still hated icebreakers. Let's go around the room and rant about yourself. No, we are leaving that in 2024, okay? Yeah, it's just a list of different icebreakers that you could use if you're a bit stuck on ideas. And this could also work for placement students, because I know it's so intimidating when you walk into the classroom and you're like, these kids are so used to one teacher and I'm just here being looked at like a zoo animal. What is going on? So this could be a way to break the ice with your kids that isn't so... I asked the SITSR Facebook community and a lot of these came from them, so thank you so much if you were one of those people. So yeah, if that is something that you're interested in, head to the link in the show notes.
Sharing knowledge everywhere, guiding young minds with such care. This is what we do.